Yeah.
All right, here we are on Product as the Star. Welcome to Product as the Star. I'm your host, Will Cunningham, and on this show, we talk to folks interested in getting the word out about a product, good, service, message, or a call to action. Today's session will feature a conversation with Leo. How you doing?
I'm doing well, brother. How about yourself, man?
How
It's
you doing,
awesome to
brother?
be here.
uh, uh, Gratitude, gratitude. Our first question, or my first question for you today is, before we even get all this started, I want you to share with our audience one thing you wish you would have known before you began this journey.
Mm, that I am not just a human being, a human body, that I am a spiritual being. I am a non-physical entity having a human experience. Yeah.
A non-physical entity having
Hmm.
a human experience. This is identifying with the spirit and the energy in the vessel as opposed to flesh identity. And there's a whole bunch, to unpack there, because if we go to identifying with the flesh, what happens is we become uh, beholden to those sensations that we interpret as feelings and emotions, and we can produce a lot of stagnation, via entropy, via these types of ailments and things like that. So when you get to understanding that you are a spirit in a body, boy, that changes your perspective. So I love that you said that. Uh, what are
Yes.
some of your influences?
Um,
So,
other artists, I'm influenced by nature. I love nature. I love water.
mm,
I love trees.
agua.
Um, right, exactly. I love I love improvisation. Um, I love family. All these things inspire me. Just life in general inspires me. If you're talking about what influences me in general, just life and just being alive. And I love the improvisation aspect of our lives where we just have to figure things out on the spot on a daily basis. And so I like to infuse that everyday experience into my art and my music. And yeah.
Improvisation is that's something about the best laid plans. You can make the best laid plans, but the universe certainly has a way of turning things up and causing you to be present. And when we find ourselves present, what we have to rely on is that utility belt. Okay, what is my skill set? Because sometimes you just got to throw the baby in the water and then show it how to swim, as opposed to explaining the instructions to the child and then putting them in the water. So yeah, we vibrate on that, definitely, and I'm sure my audience is gonna is really gonna get a kick out of that. So what are some of your favorite current artists right now? Who are you listening to?
Oh, current artists. Well, a lot of the artists I listen to have been creating for years. So right now, I'm digging Pharoah Sanders. Um, this project
Okay.
he has, what is it called? It's an amazing project. It just got some type of crazy award, but it's with an orchestra. Oh, this I think it's with the London Symphony. Uh, I'm so
Mm.
terrible right now for not remembering this, but it's an amazing album. Pharoah Sanders' latest release. It has like a white cover. It was, I think, put out by Luwakaba, but that. Oh, I've been jamming on India Shawn. I think that she used to sing with
Mm.
Anderson .Paak. I'm not quite sure. I think so,
Right.
but yes, she
Mm.
is awesome. I've been really jamming on her new album, her new release. I forgot what it's called. Please forgive me, but I've been jamming on that hard.
It's okay.
And then I would say one more. Let's see. I've been bumping "It Is What It Is" by Thundercat a lot lately too. That one, That one and
Okay.
India Sean has really
Oh,
been have really been helping me on the journey to heal in a lot of ways. So
therapeutic, especially when you know, we hear a lot of songs, Roman, and it's a lot to process sometimes. But when you find yourself going through a specific struggle, and then the universe brings that right song, then you get to feel, whoa, okay. First, I'm not alone. Second, somebody survived this, so I can survive this, and a beautiful music came out of it. And it's that type of specific specific ways that music can be very therapeutic. Um, so,
yes, yes.
what would you say have been some of your resources that have helped you along the way?
Yeah, I would say my number one resource would be uh, my spiritual communities that really helped me with this understanding that we were talking about earlier of not being solely a physical being, but also a spiritual being. And, really embracing both, but at the end of the day, realizing that um, you're a spiritual being and that you'll continue to move through this universe, through this existence in some type of way. So my spiritual communities have really been the backbone um, in my life and have really helped keep me grounded and have guided me on the way, to keep my sanity, to stay on a path of peace and justice. And also my father has been a huge instrument in my life when it comes to supporting me and being there for me, and you know making sure that I have tools and opportunities to the best of his ability so I can move forward in life. Um, and one more resource would be the music. The music moves me, especially there's particular eras that I listen to very often. I love the free jazz kind of avant-garde era a lot, and I love a lot of those musicians um, from that time. I mean, they're
Mm-hmm.
still doing it today, but there was like a specific era where it was like just crazy. And I enjoy that. That really soothes me, and it reminds me
Mm-hmm.
of like the human journey, and it reminds me of the universe seemingly so chaotic, but at the same time having this order, this beautiful divine order. And that's what that music reminds me of, and that helps me, that
Mm-hmm.
grounds me in ways.
Well, you know, that's a beautiful response. Um, when the music, when you know, it brings us to music, and you met on a show on not a show, but a room on Clubhouse called Beat Freak Friday, and for you, musically, as you found yourself at that journey, on that point of that journey, when you came into the Clubhouse and we sort of developed that collective, what did that mean to you at that time musically?
Yeah, it really meant a lot more than I really thought it would mean, because I was doing, I hadn't lived in this like spiritual community, this ashram type of setting. So I was always around a lot of devotional music and this form of music called kirtan, which is the like devotional music. And so I made a couple of projects that were devotional, and I was planning on, I guess continuing down that path to make more of those projects. But I
Mm-hmm.
kind of noticed that I was confining myself. I started to box myself to one type of sound and expression, and I started not to like that as an artist, the fact that I'm boxing myself in. And so,
Right, right.
and so
Mm-hmm.
when I got on Beat Freak Friday, and people were playing beats, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like it reminded me of something like Rap City or something like from back in the days, just people just in the basement ciphering,
Right.
talking, and sharing music, you know? I was like, this is awesome. This is real hip hop. This is
Yeah.
the hip hop that I like. And someone asked me to play a beat
Yeah.
one day. So I just played something old that I had. And like, oh, this is cool. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I just started thinking, maybe I should start because I stopped making like hip hop beats, you know. I started just doing more like free compositions and, just just out the box stuff, from what I was doing before. And so
Right.
I was like, yeah, maybe I should start making beats again. So Beat Freak Friday like kind of introduced me back to another part of myself that really used to enjoy making hip hop beats. And so because of Beat Freak Friday, I started to dive in that a little bit more, and I came out with the beat tape Kali You Ain't No Joke, because I had those beats laying around, but
Oh
I
man,
wasn't
I
going to
love it.
release it. Yeah, I wasn't going to release that. They were just going to sit and just deteriorate digitally. But
Mm.
yeah, so yeah.
Is Kali Yuga up on iTunes still? Or, I mean, where is it? Because I think I went to go try to find it and I couldn't find. I thought I downloaded it. Where is it around still?
Yeah, totally. It's on Spotify, iTunes. Um,
Okay, cool.
you have a couple tracks on SoundCloud, and it's on Bandcamp as well. Yeah, it's there.
Um, I'd like to take this time to sort of explain my experience with that album, and I know you have another album that's dropping. That's what we're going to get to talking about, and after this, we'll go into how you came into music and where you're from and all of that. But that Kali Yuga album is esoteric. It's got real world and spiritual implications. So it's like not just a creative art; it's almost like a guide through an experience to those who know. I'll spare people the doctrine of and everything. But if you that album Kali Yuga is a great album. It's an experience, and there's wisdom to go along with it with your research. So check this brother Roman Norfleet. Check out Kali Yuga, and you can find him at Roman Norfleet. You see the banner. Now that brings us to more of like a personal question of how did you find your first? Where are you from? Where are you out of? Tell us culturally where you're from.
Okay. First, I do want to say I'm not sure if this will help. That last probably 30 seconds, you were kind of choppy, like in and out. I'm not sure if it's the
Oh,
connection or
okay.
something. Um, but
Yeah, it could be. Let me try that again.
okay.
I could. I'll try it again. So I was just saying that the Kali Yuga project is very spiritual and it has wisdom to go along with the words. And as that's happening, I wanted us to get into more of who you are, the where you're from, and where you hail from. You know.
For sure. Awesome. I originally hail from the Midwest in this city called Joliet, Illinois, and also from Lockport, Illinois. So two small places in the Midwest. Um, yeah, then I
Okay.
spent a lot of time in Chicago, in my like teen, my teen years and my early college years. And then I moved to the DMV area, and then I moved to Los Angeles for
Hmm.
7.5 years, almost 8 years, and then I moved to the DMV again, and now I'm in Portland, Portland, Oregon.
Portland. And and for those that don't know, the DMV is Baltimore, Maryland, Virginia.
Yes. Yeah,
Washington
and
D.C.
Washington
I
D.C.
forget
Yeah,
the three collaborate.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, just for people that didn't know, and in the Midwest and go, these travels, and now finally in Portland. How do you think that that's impacted your music?
It kind of broke up again, but I think I heard you. I think you said, "How did moving to those different places impact my music?" Correct?
Impact your music? Yeah, that's correct. Jeez.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So I would say greatly, because of all those experiences that I had in those different places, they really informed a lot of the way I was swinging my drums, how I was sampling at one point in time, and what type of instruments and sounds I was using. I will say the number one place of influence was Los Angeles, was LA, all day, definitely. Like
Really?
the West Coast
Okay.
groove, the West Coast sound is just crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I originally fell in love with like, with Dilla's music, and then through him, like I got into Madlib. And so through Madlib, I just went down this
Mm.
rabbit hole of artists. So like you got Madlib, um, like Battle Cat, what I'm talking about, like
Hmm.
of course like the Dr. Dre
Yep.
sound, Georgia L. Muldrow, um,
Hmm.
Flying Lotus, Ross
Flying
G,
Lotus.
like these, yeah, like these
Hitters.
people really, yeah, yeah, they really inspired me. Sarah, but I can name so many. All those people have inspired me greatly, and yeah, Portland. I'm still new here, but I was already on like a transitional type of way before I got here. And Portland has me really on my far out, like, you know, out there vibes right now. So we'll see what's to come.
I can't wait. I cannot wait because I enjoyed Cali Yuga. I picked up on that West Coast, them, that P funky, that grumble, that attitude, that West Coast that makes these palm trees out here so menacing. It's a
Right.
great it's great. So now anything that you're working on right now? This is kind of a layup to talk about the new one. I don't want to give away the title. I want you to kind of tell us about that. Um, Talk about that new project, man.
Yeah, so after I put out Kali Yuga Ain't No Joke, like there was supposed to be like a stream of Kali Yuga Ain't No Joke. I got really excited, like, yeah, I'm gonna put out Kali Yuga Ain't No Joke 2, 3,
Uh,
4. So I actually have Kali Yuga Ain't No Joke 2 basically done. So I may release
what?
it. We'll see. It depends. I'm pretty sure I will.
All right.
However, I just put up a new project called Death's Door.
Mm-hmm.
Death's Door. And it's on Bandcamp exclusively right now for anyone who wants to support and pre-order it. You can do it there. There's 2 tracks available. But this project is very special to me because I've been thinking about this concept for quite a few years, and I've always been obsessed almost with the thought of death and really thinking about it like in these really deep, like intricate, hardcore
Mm.
ways. And I think most of that comes from when I was a child. My mother passed away when I was 12 years old. And so
God
that left me
bless.
with a lot of questions. That left me with a lot of questions about, God and the universe and what is life. And I found that I did ask a lot of questions during those times, but I didn't get a lot of satisfying answers. So
Mm.
that led me on a deep path. And there was a point in time in life where I was actually terrified of death. Like I couldn't even sleep with like the closet open or like the bed open. Like,
Mm.
I was like
Yeah.
super scared of death. And it was really crippling because a lot of it had to do with my idea on my spiritual practice.
Mm.
So like when it comes to like growing up in a Baptist Christian home, like thinking about concepts of hell and stuff like that.
Hell,
Uh,
brimstone, and fire. I'll say it.
exactly. A lot of that put a lot of fear in me, man, and
Mm.
really had me spooked for a lot of years, even going into my early mid 20s. Just thinking about those concepts. So I'm grateful for my spiritual communities because they really rescued me from those concepts. And so I don't fear death anymore, especially in that way. I've had some recent losses, and it's really hard to deal with, but I still don't fear it in the way that I used to. It's more of an understanding. And so all that to say, this project, Death's Door, just really musically, sonically, vibrationally expresses my experience of the way I think about death. The first track is called Fear, right? And
Mm.
there's like these dark, you know, strings playing and all these instruments playing at the same time, and you hear some wails and some screams.
Hmm.
And it just really is about embodying the moment someone fears death or what they think about death. In that moment, when you think about death, most people think of like this scary, dark place. And so through the album, I begin to kind of I talk about the dark parts, but I also talk about the beauty of it, the
Hmm.
transformational aspects, the spiritual, the esoteric stuff about death, all these different concepts that have changed my outlook to where I think me and you were talking about this last time on Clubhouse, to where it's not so heavy and dark. And
Hmm.
even if there is heavy and dark times, remember the good part as well, because it's not just that one, it's the combination. So that's what
Wow.
this project is sonically portraying, or it's what I wanted to portray. I can't
No,
really
you,
figure
you
this
it
voice
trust me.
out.
No, it portrays it. It portrays it. You've done a brilliant job once again, conveying the concept into the music, which is, so difficult at times. And then, so when I heard it, I said it was like you brought death to life, because it's just you use it as this option, almost like it's a doorway. Like, hey, listen, this is just a door. This is like not the and it really does circle back to identifying with the flesh. Again, spirituality. I'm like, are you an energy based being having a human experience, right? And so if your flesh based and you're thinking that this is who you are, India Irie had a song, I am not this hair. It's true. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And that revelation, we realize that this is just the avatar. This is a physical vehicle that is temporary. We are not entitled to this planet. We are just visiting. And so then the flesh all of a sudden biodegrades, and we depend on the science to show us that energy never leaves anywhere. So then, if we're energy, there must be other, and I'll stop there. I don't want to lose anybody, but that is a fascinating thing. And that song that people can find on Bandcamp through Roman Norfleet is an invitation to get comprehension around a tough topic. Because even just you talking about it right now, to me, took some of the sting out of death. I go, yeah, I'm starting to understand a lot more, right? Because I'm not where you're at yet with death. I'm still a little bit like, I'm watch out now, I have tests. But even just hearing you say that made it a lot less, intense.
man. Will, well, I think part of the reason why I look at death so much is because so I was adopted, right? My parents
Mm,
were in their mid 50s when they adopted me. I was adopted at birth, and because I was adopted, everyone was older than me. So I've been
okay.
to a lot of funerals. I've always seen a lot of older people
Um,
die, and then even some younger people in my neighborhood. So I lost my my mother, my godmother,
mm,
my stepmother,
Jeez.
um, all in like a super like developmental time in my life. So there were I don't know, those were things that I really just pondered on for so long. And I lost so many other relatives, uncles, aunts. I lost a brother. Uh, yeah, just so many
Mm,
people. But you know, I lost my birth father. You know,
Jesus.
right? And I don't know. I think if it wasn't for these ideas that you were just talking about, if it wasn't for this spiritualism, if it wasn't for this new insight, and even for those who don't consider themselves spiritual, this stuff still can apply. If you don't believe in God, if there is no divine consciousness or anything like that, this stuff can still apply. Just this mind shift. It really frees you from that fear of death, to where when you look, like let's say you're at a funeral and you look at that dead person, you can look at them and say, this is not them. This is just a piece of clothing that they left behind. They're on to the next, because who, like when you really think about it, the moment we're born, we're starting to decay. Who wants to even keep doing that over and over? You know, who wants to keep having to experience old age and suffering and disease and seeing like, you know,
Right.
I would want to be eventually liberated if possible from that
From
and
that
maybe go
experience.
to another, yeah, maybe go to another realm where I could do other things and that's not happening.
Yeah, a more sustainable realm for light bodies. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, exactly. You know,
Yeah,
if there's
that.
one there, like, sign me up.
Well, I commend you because you sit here as a fresh energy, even though you've went through all of that. You know, most people have to contend with losing one mother. And love. I know so many loved ones that have been through that, and I'm fortunate enough to have my mother. But you lost three mothers, like God, and so I say that not to relive it, but to say as a testament of you being here with the gentleness that you have, with the clarity. I've never even detected any toxicity off of you in our clubhouse gatherings. The music comes across very genuine, and people gravitate towards you, brother. Like people are really you saw when we put the flyer up. Everybody, oh, Roman's going on the show? Okay, got and I was like, whoa, I was like,
Oh,
wow, I got to really see that effect. And I only want to add to that, and hopefully we can multiply that, going forward, because this Death's Door, man, it felt like a Broadway musical. It felt like it could come
mm,
alive on a really theatrical way, and people could sort of understand a little bit more, even while we're in our fleshly drobe, if you will, even while we're in this post on earth, we could still get a glimpse of that other side. And then when that happens, we suddenly realize that we didn't lose people, we gained angels, we gained insight, we gained grace. So I really appreciate that journey. And that's just that's a we're lucky to have you.
oh,
It just
likewise, brother.
um, it now it also makes me wonder, from an artist perspective, how do you keep track of things? You make beats, you do music. I mean, like you're so eclectic. How do you keep track of things?
Um, you know, I actually went through a phase to where I would literally cut off certain artistic abilities that I had
Wow.
so I could focus on one specific thing and try to grow that.
Okay.
And if I would do that for like a certain period of time, I would get tired of that and want to go back to something that I used to do.
Okay.
So now I just go based on, you know, really how I feel, really
Mm.
how, really what's said in my reflections and meditations. Like, think like, you know, energetically, how am I feeling? Where do I feel like going in the now? That's where I'm going. I'm not trying to hold on to a specific sound or a specific thing anymore. And now I'm starting Be Free Friday helped with this, you know.
Yeah.
So now I'm embracing all parts of me, all aspects of me, from things that I like to read, from things that I like to watch, from um, the music that I listen to, whether it be hip hop, whether it be dance music, jazz,
Mm.
whatever it may be. Like if I want to create it, if I can make it, you know, I'm just gonna do it. You know, I'm just gonna put it out how I see fit. I'm not gonna really worry about trying to fit in a specific sound or
Mm.
genre, which is something that I did in the past. And I'm
Yeah.
just embracing the fact that that's just not my forte. You know how some artists like, you know, have like a sound or have like a specific
Sure. The
thing, like, you
signature.
know,
Yeah.
there you go, signature. I don't necessarily, maybe I have one and I haven't, and I can't recognize it yet or something like that. But I don't think I'll be having a signature. I don't know. You know,
Mm.
it'll just be whatever it is at that time. So I say that to say I'm not really keeping track as much. I do write things down. I write down different feelings and different projects that I may have ideas about. So I keep track in that way, but those get thrown in the trash all the time.
Well, that's the thing. And speaking of signature sound, I'm curious to how do you see yourself as an artist?
Yeah. I think that last, like thinking about the last question you just asked me kind of helps with that. I just see
Right.
myself like having the characteristics of the universe. You know, it appears to be at some point like chaotic, crazy. At some points, it seems to be constant, consistent, beautiful, perfect. At some point, it seems to be dark. At
Mhm.
some point, it seems to be gloomy. At some point, it seems to be paradise, you know?
Right.
But it's all it's all from one expression. It's all one thing. So that's how I'm beginning and learning to see myself as an artist. And for me, thinking like that is really it's better for my personal mental health. Like because I can't if I keep myself in a box and try to stay in a box and then I slightly want to veer out of it, but my mind is like, no, you just made this box. Like I start to get like some anxiety or something. Like you know what I mean? It's like so for my mental health, um, I just allow it to flow, and I create what I want to create in those moments. And you know, I can't really control or gauge or if people can understand what I'm doing at that time, but you know, I just do it. So I like to see me as part and parcel of the universe, packed with a lot of stuff, um, expresses in many different ways, but coming from this particular vessel.
I love that
Does
answer.
that?
That's a great answer, and it's the kind of answer that I like. It's the kind of answer that my audience is going to discover themselves wanting to rewind that part and see what part that they can like about or what they can associate themselves with on their journey. So from that, I like those open ended ones. You said in there, even me as an artist, okay, wondering if my signal is coming through clearly to the other person. That is a thing that the universe has put on us, and it's a blessing, really, so that we will keep discovering, so that we'll keep wondering, so that we will keep pursuing. And that brings me to my next question, which is, how do you think we view you? How do you think people view you as an artist as opposed to how you see yourself?
Oh, oh, um, wow. I don't. I've never been asked that question before. How do I think people view me?
Well, that's why I make the big bucks, you know.
I mean, if I judge by like my everyday experience with people, um, I think most people on average probably view me as kind of weird, kind of like, you know, quirky, I guess. Sometimes maybe appearing a little of a little like kind of everywhere, like in a lot of different places, you know, like the
Right.
universe, like I said, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I would hope people would see the underlying message and the underlying. This is what I would hope now. Like it's really hard to say, like
Yeah,
you know, to answer that question. But I would
I
hope
know.
that people would see the underlying message and the purpose, or what I'm trying to convey in my music, and what I'm trying to express. And you know, I just would hope that it would inspire someone to simply be happy in certain moments in certain times of their life. Like it doesn't have to be anything deep, like change the world or anything, but simply like uplift someone in a moment, you know.
Right, right. That's great. I want to help you with that a little bit. How I see you. I'm just one in a bunch of people that see you. I see you.
Thanks, cause
The weird part, I'm very strange and unique and different myself. So the weirdness that you're speaking of, I want to tell you that it's more of an invite to explore a new uniqueness. So that's what it's a warm invite to come experience some pretty cool, strange, off the wall stuff. And so I hope that helps you in how we kind of see you. And I'm sure a couple of the
okay.
shout out to Beat Free Friday. I'm sure some of those people will echo those sentiments. But
Yeah.
um,
That's cool.
yeah, it's a fun question that I like. I'm gonna ask that question to everybody, and it's just that it's never gonna be the same answer twice, and it leads me into other fun questions such as, what would your ideal future in music be? What would your like? your perfect vision of yourself, or not even perfect, right? Forget perfect. Your ideal, just wow, that would be great. This me in the future
Yes.
doing music. Yeah, what would that be?
Ooh, yes. I'm glad I get to put this out on this platform and into the universe,
Right, right.
into the digital cosmos, so other people can think about it and we can
Yeah,
manifest it together.
right.
So I would love to travel and perform these pieces across the globe, and obviously be able to take care of myself um, in doing these things. So full time, being able to travel, and I would also love to, like you mentioned, like we talked about, turn a lot of these pieces into more performance pieces. So adding and incorporating plays and theater, and
Yeah.
this is something I never told anyone, so this is an exclusive, but
Hold on, we got an
puppetry, like,
exclusive. Hold on, we got a
yeah.
product as the star exclusive. Roman Norfleet, give it to us, baby.
So I'm really into like creators of like the 70s and the 80s and a lot of the 90s creators too. And one creator that I'm really into is Jim Henson, the guy who
Mm.
made the Muppets. So I've also made a few puppets and done some puppetry and stuff, you know.
What?
And so yeah, man. So I want to incorporate puppetry into some of my stuff, and a lot of other cool nostalgic things that can also be shared with children. You know, there'll be some stuff that may be far out and maybe deep, nothing offensive. I hope not. You know, that'll be for adults, but I also would like to have some stuff for children, like little children musicals,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, just really want to bring the music to life, like bring it on the streets, invite more people in. I want to have gatherings where people can collectively jam together.
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, this is what I see myself doing full time. This is
That
what I
is
see
so
myself
fun
doing
and
part
that is so much fun and quirky because it's just
time.
like it is. Jim Henson is, he changed my life because everybody called me Kermit the Frog growing up. So shout out
Oh,
to Jim
really?
Henson.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that's
that's
my
cool though.
man. So that's my man because I had green on my mind anyway. So you already know. But
Yeah.
what a great interview this has been. I do want to end this with saying thank you for coming on our platform. This will be the first of many. The last question that I have for you, Roman, is what would you say has inspired you, or should I say, impacted you the most on your career, and how?
Um, hmm. I would say probably the spiritual path once again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think um losing my mother was a very instrumental person in my life, a very key figure. She really introduced me to music. She wanted me to be a musician when I was a kid. She put me
Mm-hmm.
into piano lessons and made me sing, and we used to always sing in the home. So she's a really key figure um, in my life. And even from a young age, she would only buy what you would deem like educational toys at a certain point, like Legos and
Wow.
puzzles, things that I would have to use my mind to build. And, you know, that led me to creating my own stuff from a very early age. So, you know, I'm sure you've seen Toy Story. You know that character Sid, where he's like ripping off the heads of dolls and
Right, right.
putting new, like making his own toys. I did
Mm-hmm.
the exact same thing in so many different
Wow.
ways. And so
Wow.
that kind of led me to like she set out the the palette, or she gave me the canvas to be creative as I wanted to be in some ways. And so losing her at such a young age um, really impacted me in a way where I took that creativity, but at the same time, I was doing the most introspection and deepest thinking that I've ever done, you know, in my life because of
Mm.
my fear of death and just thinking about losing her. So just a blend of all of that really informs my music, and it honestly, this may sound a little bit selfish, I don't know, but it really heals me more than anything because stuff like that can try to weigh heavy on you in your life at times. So creating really helps me stay afloat because if not for the music, if not for being able to create and express myself, it would have been hard for me to get through some very dark times in my life. So, you know, that really informs me. And I also love to help others. I've been in like all of my old jobs when I was younger was always like in customer service and, you know, helping out people and serving. So, that's always been my thing. And to do that with music it means a lot to me. And because my mother showed me that, and that's what keeps me going. That's what fuels me. Yeah.
We have that in common, and thank you for sharing that as we close this. I want to give a shout out
Yeah.
to my mother too, because my mother, single mother, and when I was a kid in San Francisco, my mother had to take me to her job,
Mm.
but her job was cleaning out this music, like it's like this music place. It had all these pianos and harps and stuff. And so as she was cleaning that place, I got to run around, and they'd be having classical piping out of one room, be a piano in this room, a big room for dance. And as she's cleaning up, I used to get to run around in these places, and this is my formative years. So that's my happy space in music. So it's a blessing to have a mother that is putting certain things in front of their child in the formative years. And I'm
Mhm.
grateful that she did that, because we have you. It's not selfish, brother. It's really, because who's going to take care of the caretakers? So you have to take care of yourself first, love yourself, be your own best friend, so that we might be able to do that for another, just as you have been to the whole Beat Freak family, and to, I'm sure, everybody who knows you. I thank you for coming on Product as the Star. You my man forever. You already know that. Get back with me, man. Tonight, Beat Free Friday, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Clubhouse, please go check the room out. Product as a Star. That's my man right there, Roman Norfleet. Give him your Instagram and your project one more time, man, and we're going to get out of here.
Yeah. So thanks again, brother Will. Much love to you. Peace and blessings and prosperity to all that you're doing. Agua,
Thank you.
everything is going to be off the chain. The future is
Thank you.
big and bright for you for sure. My Instagram and Twitter, everything is Roman Norfleet. Roman Norfleet, like he has up here. The project is called Death's Door. You can check it out.
Mhm.
RomanNorfleet.bandcamp.com. Death's Door. Support your brother if you want to check out some awesome music. All right. Peace.
All right, man. We out of here. Product as a Star. We'll be back with another interview before you know it.
Yes,
Peace.
sir.